I love fresh bread, but I'm also lazy, and I don't have the time usually to make fresh bread because between making the dough and letting it rise and then shaping it out and baking it, everything takes so much time, it takes so many hours, especially the proofing. But so one of my all-time favorite things to do is to make soda bread. All you need to do is mix your ingredients in a bowl, shove it in an oven, and there you go, fresh bread in an instant. So first we're gonna start with 4 cups of all-purpose flour. It's so hot, I'm sweating so much. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 pinch of salt, put it to your heart's content. I usually like my bread a little bit saltier. And this part's optional, but I'm gonna make it an American style bread with about 2 tablespoons of sugar. I've seen some people put more, I've seen people not put sugar at all. What the sugar does is it makes the bread a little bit more flavorful, and it makes it a little bit fluffier, and it's just that much more addictive. Now get our whisk, because we will need all of our dry ingredients to be whisked together thoroughly, especially that baking powder, because we need it to be evenly distributed in our mixture. You can hear all the cars today because we're trying a different style of video. We're doing a live bake. Okay, so next are our wet ingredients. Well, in the US it would be buttermilk, but buttermilk is not really a thing you can find that easily here. So I'm gonna teach you a quick little trick about making buttermilk in these circumstances, which is you get your milk. In this case, we're gonna need about 2 cups, so we're gonna do 1 cup at a time. Into each of those cups, we're gonna put about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of lemon. And here's the logic behind this. The reason we use buttermilk when we're cooking with baking powder is because the baking powder reacts to the acid that's in the buttermilk, because that's what basically buttermilk is. It's fermented milk, making it more acidic. So you can do basically the same thing with any acid. You can use lemon, you can use vinegar. If you have some other cooking acids, you can use those too, as long as it's safe to eat. And so all we're trying to do is we're trying to make the milk a little bit more acidic so that it reacts even further with the baking powder. If you're really brave, you can try mixing in you can try leaving your milk out for a few days and trying to turn it into buttermilk, but I don't recommend that from a medical standpoint. It's kind of dangerous. So now we're just gonna mix our wet into our dry ingredients until it becomes one big shaggy ball of dough, and then we'll roll it out, mix it a little bit more with our hands before we transfer it into our baking pan. So if you're thinking, wait, you're using baking powder to make bread? Isn't that how you make cake? Yes, that's exactly how you make cake because it's the same basic idea. The only difference is that our dough is gonna be a little bit drier. It should be dry enough that you can scour the top. If you notice your dough's a bit too wet, like it seems to be here, all you need to do is add a bit more flour. Okay, now we're just gonna flour our work surface first. Dump out this shaggy ball. If you've ever baked, you don't want to waste a single bit of it, because this was your time and effort, your heart and your dreams and your stomach all wanting it right now. I'm just gonna fold it and knead it a little bit. Not that great. Ready. Okay, so we've got our nice little ball of dough here. We're gonna get just our baking receptacle of choice, and we are going to coat the bottom generously in flour. You won't have seen this in the final edit, but this ball of dough got stuck to this board I don't know how many times in the process of kneading this. Okay, so we're gonna carefully coax this dough off the table into our baking pan, and I need a knife. And we are going to just scour the top of this piece of bread like so. And now it's gonna go into an oven at about 425 degrees or around 220 degrees Celsius for 35 to 40 minutes, depending on how big of a loaf that you managed to make. Okay, and it's been 35 minutes, just long enough to play 1 round of Rainbow Six. And look at that, we've got bread. Let's get it out of the tin. Let me just coax it on out. There you go, one beautifully fresh loaf of bread. And that was about an hour of work. It took like 20 minutes to prepare, 30 minutes to bake. No need to proof. Let's get a nice look at that. Now, don't be too worried about over baking or under baking this. There are no eggs in this, so you can technically actually eat this raw, so no worries. And there you go, fresh bread in an instant. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Try it out yourselves at home. Have a beautiful weekend. Let's eat.